Hello and welcome to a special Christmas episode of Melbourne 22. I'm Aaron McCarthy.
And I'm Anna Burgess. Now tonight we're going to Corio Bay where Danny teaches a few tips on fishing.
Woo! We look at the different types of food truck vendors in Melbourne and how they compare with New York.
And we find out what you, our jolly viewers, we suspect you're jolly, we don't know that for sure, what you thought your worst Christmas present was ever.
All that and much, much more to keep you hooked. You see what I did there?
Yeah,
right here on Melbourne 22.
I'm a reindeer.
Nice antlers. I thought,
I hate it when newsreaders do that, but they're probably actually speaking about something worthwhile, whereas we
Probably.
speak about
We
dirty
go,
dancing.
yeah.
Welcome back to the 17th episode of the season 3 for Melbourne 22. On behalf
mouthful,
of
wasn't it?
It was a mouthful. On behalf of everyone here at Melbourne 22, you should see our crew. They're like...
They're all
like-
decorated.
No, they look like Victoria's Secret models. I kid you not, they are just all in lingerie and just fluff.
It's really hard to concentrate.
It's very hard to compete with that. But we all want to wish you here, don't we, guys? They can't speak, but a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you all. Now, you can keep up to date with all facets of Melbourne 22 via our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages. For all of the interesting behind-the-scenes Victoria's Secret action, content and information about our final episode next week.
Now, firstly tonight, we have a fun little package for you about fishing in Corio, but why are you laughing?
Sorry, you just said package.
A fun package, a very fun package actually, about fishing in Corio Bay located in Geelong. Are you a bit of a fishing fan, Aaron? Actually, before you say that, Aaron was just telling us a bit of a story of when he was younger about a hairbrush and some fishing line.
I caught a King George whiting with a hairbrush because my dad was trying to get me out of the way to do real fishing, so he tied a fishing line to a hairbrush and then he gave up fishing after that. So,
and you
long
do
story
have
short.
you have a girlfriend, don't you?
Yes. I'd be quite interested to learn quite a lot more from Danny, as a matter of fact. So.
Well, Aaron, stay focused.
Daniel Skeen from Geelong, Barrick for Geelong, half Carlton. Key success to fishing. Well, there's probably plenty of answers for that one. For me, is patience. If you want to catch fish, patience. My biggest fish I've caught is a 360 kilo bronze whaler shark. And believe it or not, that was caught just up the channel in here, inside the bay. During the winter months up inside the bay here, where I do nearly all my snapper fishing, just general pilchards are pretty good and easy bait. You can buy a whole block of pilchards for $10 and it can generally do you a whole night of fishing. Mainly because during the winter months you haven't got the little pickers around, which are little flathead, little sand whiting and stuff like that to just pick your pilchards to pieces. During the summer months, it's really hard to use pilchards because they literally last 5 minutes on the hook. So you can be sitting there and you won't have a bait in the water. Squid is a really good bait if you can get fresh squid. You also double your chances on getting a really good gummy shark during the summer months out there. You can just sit out there and throw the rods out, sit back and relax. Use a bit of burley. What I use burley for snapper is just little cubes of pilchards. Just throw a handful of cubes in every 5-10 minutes, and what that does is they go down through the water column and drift around. Then when the snapper come into the area, there's food there, so they tend to hang in that area. Any rod and reel will catch a nice snapper, provided you know how to use your drag, which your drag is your pressure preset on your reel to allow the fish to take the line off the reel without breaking it. And any rod and reel, you can go to Kmart, Race 10 City, wherever, You can spend 50, 60 bucks on a basic rod and reel. The main key would be to put decent line. I have to have the right rods, the right gear, rig up the right way, put my bait on a certain way. If I have people with me that don't do that, I tend to tell them to move away and sit down and let me do it.
Makes you just want to grab a rod and reel and get out there and start doing a bit of fishing yourself. What do you think, Anna?
Or a hairbrush.
Or a hairbrush. Whatever works for you, that's the main thing.
We've got to ask our guest if he uses a hairbrush. Now, to discuss this further, we have Jeff Wilson from Geelong, an author who has written his own book titled Fishing Guide to Geelong. Thanks for joining us, Jeff.
My pleasure, Anna.
Jeff, thank you for coming along. What first inspired you to start fishing and got you into the sport?
Well, my parents used to go for a holiday down at Queenscliff every Christmas. They didn't have a car, so we got a furniture van. We took a big tent down to Queenscliff, and my father and mother were very keen to go fishing, and of course, as a little nipper, I went along too, and that's how I more or less got started.
For beginners, I mean, do you have to get out on a boat to catch good fish, or are there good places that you can go to these days that you're fishing from land, from jetties and from beaches and, I mean, rocky outcrops and things like that? Is there local places where you can get good fish these days still?
I believe so. When I was a teenager, I got the biggest snapper 3 years in a row for the Geelong District Angling Club as a kid on a push bike. And the biggest one of those was 23 pound 13 ounces, and that was land-based.
Fishing while you're riding on a push bike's just showing off, I think.
I had to get a taxi to bring them home because I had 3.
Oh, you're kidding me. That is massive. They must have been big. Now, Jeff, do you have any main species of fish that you like to go out there and fish for? What do you most enjoy going out and fishing for these days?
My most experience has probably been with snapper, but my species of key interest to me have been snapper, mulloway, kingfish, and sharks.
Ooh.
But I fish for whiting. I'm not, not prejudiced in any way.
Now, what basic equipment would one need to get started? A hairbrush, perhaps?
You did hear the hairbrush story before.
I'd probably use the hairbrush after I came back from fishing. Yes, I'd probably go to one of the department stores like Ray's Outdoors or perhaps someone like that, or perhaps a fishing tackle retailer. Yep. And get a combo. That's a rod and reel and line and everything all done. A little tackle box full of hooks and sinkers, swivels, etc., and maybe 1 or 2 lures.
We hope you enjoy the rest of your Christmas day, and thank you so much for coming in and joining us today.
Thank you ever so, Aaron, and thank you, Anna.
Now, before we head to the break, we have something very different for you. We do. We speak to a young up-and-coming rapper. My dream, so don't go anywhere.
My name is Andrew Papadopoulos, and my stage name is Lil
It's
Paps.
the L-I-L to the P-A-P. That's how it gon' be till I D-I-E. Sit back and watch me rip this flow. Oh, here we go. I'm about to take this show.
Every day I'm working in the studio. I'm writing songs, recording songs, working all day, working all night. That's all I do. Music is my passion. Music is what I do. So that's my job. Every day, all day I'm working, never taking breaks. But when I was younger, I used to listen to a lot of hip hop. Just listening to, some of my favorite rappers. I just wanted to be like them. And then I tried writing my own song. That didn't go to plan at first, but then I never gave up. And I wrote another song that went to plan. I recorded it, and now I just knew that I had to do it. The music was in my blood. It's in my veins. That's what I have to do. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Little Pap. You're watching Melbourne 22 on Channel 31. Make sure you stay tuned because there's some big things coming. Peace.
Coming up next on Melbourne 22.
Robot-orientated song. Welcome back.
Did your ears get bigger?
No. What? They wob. Can you see that movement? It's amazing.
can.
Yeah. Now, don't forget, We've got what today?
This
and
is PG, by the way. Don't wobble like that again.
Don't forget, if you've liked anything you've seen so far, us in particular, but
Yeah.
you might have liked Jeff,
Yeah.
all his fishing stories, go to our Facebook page or Twitter feed and send us a message or keep up to date. Ask us a question. Now, during the week, we went out and put you on the spot.
Like that.
Ooh, you licked it.
Take a look at what you guys said was your worst Christmas present ever.
Worst Christmas present? Probably,
Who's listening so I don't offend anyone?
I think I got a rice cooker once. And not a good one. Money.
Yes, that's going to take a bit to think of. Pyjamas from my grandma. Jocks, but they were too small. Classical box of chocolate.
A card.
Um,
I was expecting a present and my parents went a bit stingy and got me a card. I was like, thanks.
something my ex-husband gave me, like a spade or something like that for the garden.
My worst Christmas present has to be probably the Bible.
Someone gave me a skipping rope and 10 kilograms of muscle builder.
Worst. I tried. Wasn't good.
Now we're sitting here thinking that that guy who said that his worst Christmas present was a car was a little bit fussy, and then we realised that he probably said card.
Probably.
What was your worst Christmas present ever, Anna?
Well, 2 years ago, I got food poisoning. That was my gift from Santa. I mixed KFC with a Krispy Kreme donut. You know, one of those ones that looks like a Christmas pudding.
Never a good idea.
And
Did you blend?
I blended the two,
Yeah.
and then I was staying at my ex-partner's holiday house, and we were on bunk beds, and I was on the top bunk bed with food poisoning. Yes.
Yay!
What about you?
So you could actually have a game, make a game out of it, and just strew buckets around the floor and just do pot shots as your sort of
Exactly.
projectile vomit area.
Volleyball vomit.
For me, I don't know if there's one that particularly stands out, but there's always like when you're younger and you have the cardigan or the knitted jumper that's been made by the
Funny you
oldies.
say
Or
cardigan. Our producer is constantly in cardigans.
Yeah, I think he should have a sponsor,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Not an AA one or anything like that, but just like clothing, cardigan sort of wear,
He
things
likes
like
lawn
that.
bowls and cardigans.
I had a mate who got given carrots because he was naughty for Christmas, and just the general socks and underwear thing. I think sometimes.
Organic carrots or just general carrots?
No, he was really naughty. It was just normal bad steroidy carrots. You know, the pesticide ones.
Yeah, terrible.
Oh. So to our next package, food truck vendors
Package.
I know. Food truck vendors in Melbourne are beginning to become quite popular. We're starting to see the different types of food trucks from various cultures, which seems to be gradually going on and growing.
Yeah, we're becoming our own little New York. So let's take a look and see with more detail.
Food truck vendors in Melbourne are increasingly common and have been a distinctive enterprise for a number of years.
My name's Paul McCormack. I'm one of the owners of Soul Kitchen Wood-Fired Pizza. Pizza is something that definitely defines Melbourne as far as food goes. You're working, but yet you're free. You can be in different locations at any one time. Chopping wood on one of the busiest streets in Melbourne turns heads all the time.
Born and bred in Melbourne. I bought the combi in Melbourne and basically liked the concept that I'd seen years ago after I built my first vehicle and thought it'd be a good espresso bar. And probably 6 days of the week I'll wake up at about 5:15, just get ready and then come down here with the combi and get the machine fired up by about 6, and then we just get our general public coming through and people going to work.
New York City has been globally renowned for its diversity of food truck vendors. Here we have Ellie, giving her point of view on the comparisons between New York and Melbourne.
Look, I think the food truck scene is relatively new to Melbourne compared to other places. I just returned from New York last week where I went to the Vendy Awards, which are the New York Food Truck Awards, and they've really got a culture there, like it's been going on for a while. And so in Melbourne, we're probably the scene is probably only about 4 years old if you're talking about gourmet upmarket food trucks. Prior to that, we had donut trucks and hot dog and chip trucks and things like that. It wasn't the same kind of quality of food product and food pride that we have today.
Melbourne has been inspired by New York for its food truck popularity, as it provides society with a unique range of foods from many different cultures.
I think to a large degree we do just as well as New York. It's just that we don't have the population for it. But, you know, all the food trucks around Melbourne have been really, really good and have hung around for a while now. So it's really good. Yeah, I definitely think that it's going to grow. I think it's going to grow. It's only started, it's only new, it's only 4 or 5 years old, so for sure.
People love coming to the truck. People will order one pizza and 90% of the time they'll be back for a second. And you're always meeting new people and having new conversations with people. That's probably what I love the most.
Love Melbourne. Where would you go? Have you ever stepped out of Melbourne? Once you step out of Melbourne, you realise how good Melbourne actually is.
It gets hot at times, but what better thing to deliver Melbourne is wood-fired pizza on the streets.
There you go. You heard it first. Melbourne is the place to be. Now, I have also seen too, it's not just the savoury sort of, you know, we've all heard of the Mexican, the taco, but I read recently there's a creme brulee van.
Food van.
Right? Amazing.
These things are becoming really big as well. They're actually getting to the stage now where people are actively going out and seeking out these food vans around Melbourne as like a hobby/pastime.
Yeah, you can follow them on Twitter and they change areas and it's cheap, it's affordable and good food.
What would you be doing if you did your own food van?
Oh, well, I like the pizza guy, but he's already nabbed that.
Oh, yeah.
I just love a good hot dog. I know that's sort of been done, but like a really good chili dog with onion on it,
Yeah.
very American. I love
Lots
a good
of toppings and everything. I would, when I was in Miami.
shaved parmesan.
Yeah, so word to the food vendors out there of Melbourne, when I was in Miami, pulled pork sandwiches. It's like that stringy, slow-cooked pork sort of stuff.
All those dripping hamburgers, like the In-N-Out burgers from LA, like that kind of just fat. Just
Do you want to
general
take a
fat,
time out and
really.
just go and get some food?
Yeah.
Maybe after the show. Now, changing gears a little bit now to our next story. We have a man by the name of Victor, who's a very good friend of mine from the charity organisation Seconds to Give. Victor, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now tell us about what you do over there at Seconds to Give.
So Seconds to Give is, the idea came about just pretty much collecting second-hand clothes, books, linens, or towels, and we donate that to a village in the Philippines. And we do that, we've been doing that since 2005. And to for them to receive something so small, it means a lot to them.
So how has everything changed now since the devastation in the Philippines with the typhoon? I mean, obviously it's become far more important to be able to get these resources over there. What sort of barriers are you coming up against now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When the typhoon hit, I pretty much did a campaign, a typhoon relief campaign, and we collected a whole heap of stuff. There's a lot of people that donated clothes, as well as monetary funds, so that we can put that resource on the ground straight away. The barrier that we get, it's not too bad at the moment now because things have cleared, so we can get trucks and the transportation to the devastation area. So it's not too bad now, but definitely seeing the places and the photos from the devastation is just horrific. You know, the roofs fell out. Some of the places, electricity is not even going to be restored for another 12 months.
Well, that's what they're saying, that with the devastation, it could take years to clean this up. But all these little things help, though. How does it feel to be a part of that?
Oh, it's really great. Like, you know, you see little boys get a toy, for example, and they play with it for hours and hours and hours, and they're so appreciative of little things. And, you know, our motto is to give a simple way to make a difference, and giving a second-hand clothes or second-hand toys to these people, it just means a lot to them. So it's just really, really great.
Now, even before the typhoon came through the Philippines, Seconds to Give already existed. What kind of problems were people facing over in the Philippines before this massive devastation came through?
The Philippines is, as you know, is a third world country. It's a developing country, but yeah. So a normal average wage is like $2 or $3 a day for them. they're hardworking people. Even though they earn so little, they still have a smile on their face and still manage to put food on the table. What we're doing is, just providing them clothing, which otherwise they will not get. And what we normally do is we give them just around about Christmas, so it's kind of like a good bonus for them.
Yeah.
And what do people do if they want to get even more hands-on? Not just donating stuff, but get more hands-on. And what exactly happens with the goods after they come to you guys at Seconds to Give?
So we do sorting and packing. We always need volunteers for those. So we sort and pack to make sure that what we send are appropriate stuff. So no big clothing, no winter clothing.
No ears?
No reindeer ears.
Really? Yeah.
Okay. That could possibly pass.
Okay.
And then so once we sort them, we pack them and we ship them there, and that gets shipped to a place where we do the distribution, and it's always different village every year, and we instruct them to make sure that it's in a safe place, and the boxes will not be open until we get there and we do the distribution. And I always go and be part of the distribution, and other members of the committee always goes as well.
Thank you so much, Victor. Thank you so much for joining us on Christmas Day. And congratulations on all your wonderful work.
Absolutely. It sounds like a great way to spend a little bit of a different holiday as well, going and volunteering with something like that.
Yeah,
so
maybe you and I should go and do that.
Maybe.
Just go out and...
I don't know if I could travel with you. Yeah, not like that, just that you're annoying. So don't go anywhere, guys. By the way, website along the bottom of the screen. If you want to find out more about Seconds to Give, we've got the website along the bottom of the screen there. Don't go anywhere, guys. I didn't really mean that, of course.
I know you didn't. Because you're actually the annoying one, but yeah.
After the break, we are going to teach you another... She always cuts me off. Another lesson in the history of Melbourne.
See you soon.
Stop it.
Coming up next on Melbourne 22.
And then I said, nobody puts baby in the corner. So, welcome back to Melbourne 22. Now, transportation is an important factor these days in everybody's lives. Trams in particular have been quite significant here in Melbourne.
Here we take you on another history lesson. Let's take a look.
Melbourne has the largest urban tramway network in the world. Tens of thousands of people using the service every day. Trams have been running in Melbourne since 1884. The first electric tram service opened on October the 14th in 1889 and ran from Box Hill to Doncaster. Since then, tram services have grown into what we know today, becoming an important part of Melbourne's appeal and culture. It is one of the most convenient ways to travel in and around the city, with the network consisting of 487 trams, 30 different routes and 1,763 stops. Trams have radically altered the lives of Melbourne residents for the better by providing a cheap and reliable service. Where would we be without them?
Where would we be?
Where would we be, indeed? You know what? I am a massive fan of trams.
Yep.
And they are super, super, super Melbourne.
They're quintessential Melbourne.
They are.
Where would we be?
I was overseas, and I spent a heck of a lot of time overseas in my earlier days. Not young, but sort of middle, where you travel after high school, uni and all that sort of stuff. I went into a library and I found a Melbourne book. And I'd been away for a long time. It had a picture of a tram on the front and I got homesick.
Aww.
That's how Melbourne trams are.
Which you're going to be homesick because today is our second last episode. So next week, New Year's Day is our last episode for season 3. You're going to get homesick and miss me. And this place, this humble home that we've created here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will you miss me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Now, to send us off this week, we have Elle Parkinson performing her new song, Queen Naive. How ironic.
Why?
Because you'd have to be a little bit naive to think that I was... No, I am going to miss you. I really am. Merry Christmas, one and all. Spread the cheer.
Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for joining us and we'll see you next week.
See you then.
Well, I've been seeing things I've been hearing things I'm ignoring. I'm making up excuses for you. And you say you're gonna take me to a really nice place, but you leave me by my phone alone. But you do have a hold on me. My friends are calling me Queen Naive. You do have a hold on me, yeah. And you can call me Queen Naive. Well, Polly said she saw you over at the bar with that lass you saw last year. Yeah, but you told me you thought she was weird. And James said I was deserving of a guy who would surely give me the time of day. Yeah, but all I could say is you do have a hold on me. My friends are calling me Queen Naive. You do have a hold on me, yeah. And you can call me Queen Naive. And I won't mind if you're late to every plan we make, because I'm the queen. Yeah, I'm the queen. Naive.